Hey there, this is just a quick video on how to change the front brake rotors on a 1999 Master Bravo or Ford Courier. So first things first, you gotta take the wheel off, you gotta jack the car up. And then, what you wanna do is loosen up the slider bolts on the brake caliper. So there's this one down here. Just get them loose. And then take the bolt off for this little bracket that holds the hose on too. I've already got it loose, so I'm just going to unwind it with my fingers. So that bracket's off. And then you want to get this bolt off, and also this bolt right here. So this holds on the caliper frame. So once you get those two big bolts out for the caliper frame should just come straight off. And then just place it on something to rest, like this bucket. Just so you're not pulling on the fucking rubber hose. Right. Now it's free from any braking systems. Now you've got to take off these 6 bolts here for the Aisin locking hub. This one's 10mm. Right, that's the Aisin locking hub. Just pull it off like that. Put it somewhere safe. Right, next up, we've got to get some circlip pliers like these ones. And there's a little circlip that we've got to take off. I'll demonstrate how it's done. You need a couple of flathead screwdrivers as well to help pry it off. I'm just going to rotate it to a more favourable position, which is the northernmost position. It's a bit tricky to fucking work with this circlip. Alright, that's in a good spot. Now I should be able to pry it off. I'm going to squish it, pry it apart with the circuit pliers and then force it off with this flathead screwdriver. Okay, see that? Just grab this side too. It's got a little groove that it sits in, but once you loosen it from the groove, it's just a matter of prying it out. Most of the time, actually. I'll take a few attempts with the circlip pliers. There we go. I got it. Now, this part's tricky. Right, this part's tricky because I'll show you something. Here's the circlip here. I'm not fully removing the circlip, I'm just bringing it most of the way towards the end of the shaft. And what I'm going to do is we're going to take the bearing and we're going to take the rotor off around the circlip so we don't have to try and fight to get this back on again. I'll demonstrate how it's done soon. Anyway, that's good enough like that. Right. Now there's 2 bolts. These are, I think they're 10mm or maybe they're 8mm, I can't quite remember. There's one here. There's one there, they're covered in grease right now. So we'll take those off too. I think they're 8mm. Yeah, they are, they're 8mm. Okay, these two bolts out. These just retain the bearing, these bolts. They're not doing anything major. So that's one. That's two. They're really small, you see. Really small. They're covered in grease. Right. Now what you've done, you're taking those two bolts out. You got the circlip halfway off the shaft. Now I'll show you what to do. Alright, let's grab two screwdrivers. You shove them in any of the holes that you see in this bearing retainer, and you'll be able to just pry it off like this. It's quite easy to get this off, but it does have a little tab that you have to get in the correct orientation. Okay, I'll show you the tab. There's a little tab right there. A little tab. It has to be in the correct orientation. Right. Remember which way this goes. I'm going to place it down because that's the way I took it off. Now, this part, you have in here another bearing retainer. This one is a twist off, so it's threaded. Let me show you up close. Okay. This is the bearing retainer that's threaded. Now all you do is you put your screwdriver in a hole and you just turn it and turn it till it comes off. Right. Put this camera down. I'll show you. Turn this bearing retainer to the left. Needs probably about 4 or 5 full rotations, maybe 6 full rotations to get it off. Okay, it takes a bit more than 5 rotations. Anyway, that's the bearing retainer. This is the threaded bearing retainer that goes in before the bolt-in bearing retainer. Okay, so remember we're going to put this down the way it came out. Now this is the part that you can actually remove the rotor. It's free now. And as you can see, the bearing will actually slide over the circlip retainer. So you actually don't have to take the circlip retainer off. It's really good. So you just pull it. Oh shit, don't drop the bearing. And then, there you go, that's the rotor off. This is the wheel bearing. Old school style one. We're going to put this, remember the orientation it goes in, although it's kind of hard to screw the orientation of that particular part up. And there you have it. This is the rotor. This is the shaft that the rotor goes on and the bearing sits on. This is your drive shaft that sends power to the wheel right here. There's the retaining clip. There's the retaining clip's washer. As you can see, it's still on the shaft. I haven't taken it off. And then there's just 6 bolts here in order to take the hub off from the rotor itself. That's fairly straightforward. Alright, thanks for watching.